This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Morning, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. Danielle here. It is a little past 7 o'clock. We are up early today, so you get me in all my natural glory. But today we are headed to this place here. I found it while just scrolling on Google, and I saw that they had a $1 section and like racks outside, but they also sell pacas de ropa, which are like bundles. No, they're like clothing bales. So I really want to get my hands on one. I don't know how much it's gonna be, but I've seen other vendors sell bales for $100, $200. So I feel like it might be an investment, but I do want to make 2 videos out of today's trip. So the first one is just going to be a haul of the $1 section and the clothing racks that they have outside. And then the second video, probably the clothing bale. Let's go check this place out, see if it's worth it. The outfit is nothing too crazy. We're doing something comfy since I assume we're going to be rummaging a lot. So just have my kitty shirt, some black jeans, and supergas. Guys, so it looks like they only have $1 clothes on Saturdays. So Saturdays are the days to come. And then those are the bundles of clothing. We're just trying to find parking right now because there's like hella people. It looks like they have a whole bunch of sections. They have a little vintage store. So since we parked here, we might as well just check this out first. Looks like they have a whole bunch of blankies here outside, but I already recently got one. So let's just go inside. Voiceover Dan here, and I didn't film much just because I was so focused on finding clothes and freezing, but let's give it up for Arthur for coming through with the footage because otherwise this video would not exist. But pretty much we got to Colette's around 7:30 a.m. and y'all, it was so freaking cold. Like, I'm not even lying, I thought I was gonna freeze to death, and after like 20-30 minutes I was considering taking a break in the car with the heater on. So seriously, if you plan on visiting this rag house, bring jackets, bring sweaters, layers, gloves. Gloves are so important. So today we're hitting up 3 places. We have the vintage store, the $1 clothing outside, and then another little shoppable area near the $1 clothing. But the vintage store is really just their rag house. So inside here we have pallets of clothes, and you can tell that it's organized by category, but there's just a lot of random items tossed in from previous shoppers. But the pallets, you can tell, are distinguished by lingerie, jeans, leather, swimsuits. And then in the middle of the room, we do have just clothing racks full of a mix of modern and vintage clothing, so you really have to rummage to find something good. But I should have mentioned, as soon as you walk in, there is a little table off to the side with little knickknacks, and so this is where I found a clown lid that I think belongs to a jar, and so the clown collector in me really wanted it, but it would honestly have no purpose for me, so left it behind. If you're unfamiliar shopping rag houses, I definitely recommend looking everywhere and not just inside the pallets, but all corners of the room, every bin you come across, all along the floor. So I did find a bin full of belts and tights, and I'm trying to collect tights in just about every color and pattern. So I did a lot of rummaging here, but I did end up finding 2 tights, so I'll show those in the haul portion. But just one rule and one word of advice that I have is just ensure you're cleaning up after yourself and just be respectful. It is pretty easy to get messy and create new piles of clothes as you rummage. So just make sure you're being mindful of where you create these piles, so that way other shoppers can rummage comfortably, and y'all, just clean up after yourselves. If you're anything like me where you just get consumed by looking through clothes and don't even realize that 2-3 hours have gone by, I recommend taking some snackies and water just so that you keep your energy up. And also, there will be times where you just take breaks because your arms are burning from rummaging through clothes. So take advantage of those breaks and hydrate, fuel up so you can keep going. All right, let's talk some shoes now. They do have a whole wall of shoes, including a few bins. So it's not the most organized, and you do have to go through the shoe boxes to find a style you like or even a matching pair. But tell me, does anyone else just have the urge to sit here and organize everything? It's just so satisfying to see some place go super messy to just super organized and clean. So it took a lot of me to just walk away from it untouched. I do also want to mention that Colette's is Latino run, so a lot of the people that I was speaking to only spoke Spanish. They do have a younger guy there who I think might be like a son or a grandson who speaks English. So for my Spanish speakers, you definitely have an advantage when it comes to communicating with the owner. I did speak with her about buying a bale, and she was saying that most of them include modern clothing and not necessarily vintage and Y2K like I was looking for. But another option was choosing enough items that I found in the pallets to create a bale, so you can always move forward with that. But I did end up passing on a bale altogether. But here we have rejects of the day. I'm just going to show these off very quickly. I felt super uncomfortable talking in the rag house just because it was so quiet. They weren't playing any music, so any conversation that you have, other people can totally hear it. So I'm just gonna quickly show these off, and then we'll move into the $1 clothing. Cutting in real quick, just thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. They're a platform where you can create a professional website, and so that's how I have twino.com. This is where I sell all of my thrifted and vintage clothing. So if you're wanting to sell a physical or digital item or even a service, Squarespace makes it super easy because they offer a ton of different tools. The first tool they offer is e-commerce templates. So they have a whole library full of different website layouts and designs to choose from. And then once you choose something, it's very easy to customize to your liking. The second tool is inventory management. So if you're someone like me who also wants to run a website with a lot of inventory that you have to keep track of, so it just helps you keep organized, and it even generates a SKU number for every item that you upload. But even better is that you do get notified via email anytime one of your items is low on stock or completely out of stock. The last tool I want to touch on is secure payments. So you can ensure that your customers feel safe anytime they're purchasing off your website, because you can connect Stripe and PayPal, so that way your customers can pay using their credit card, PayPal, or Venmo. If you want to check out Squarespace, go ahead and visit squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when you're ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/twinl to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using my code TWINL. But a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Let's get back to Colette's. I want to just try out these tables now. Also, I don't know about the pricing of the clothes in the vintage store, but I'll ask and give you all that info. But I do want to go inside just because it's so cold out. So if you do plan on coming, bring a jacket for sure. So now we're inside the second indoor area that I was talking about earlier, and we should just call this the outerwear room because it's full of men's and women's sweaters, jackets, and coats. Just about all of them were modern brands, so we saw a lot of Steve Madden and a ton of Target's Wild Fable, and just like a sprinkle of vintage. But this room was super organized compared to the rag house, and all the sections were super tidy and they just made sense. So most of the room was made up of the women's section. We had men's along the back corner, and then along the back wall was all kids. Deep into the room, there is a random table full of pots and pans, shoes, bed sheets, plushies. It was just super random, but I didn't end up buying anything here just because I'm in SoCal. I have plenty of jackets. So let's head over to the $1 pile. All the $1 tables are set up side by side, and there's about 8 to 10 tables total. Again, it's not organized, but there were a few tables where you can tell just by glancing that it was kids' clothes, men's, women's, but other than that, you're doing a lot of rummaging to find what you like. Also, just a heads up, keep your hands off the bins full of clothes on the sidewalk. Those are people's finds. I went in thinking that it was just excess clothing that didn't fit onto the table, so my dumbass was looking through these bins when it belonged to someone. But I personally didn't find anything at the $1 tables. I did run into a viewer, hey Andrea, what's up? And she pretty much said that you have to get there as early as you can to find the best items. Otherwise, when you go at the time I did, it's pretty much picked through already. All right, y'all, we're back from Colette's now. I have my $26 worth of clothes in here, and I know I said it earlier, but it is so cold in there. Like, if you go hella early in the morning, please just listen and wear layers, wear gloves. I literally thought my fingers were gonna fall off while I was rummaging through all the clothes, and just being so cold didn't make it very fun. So I was ready to give up within an hour. So trust me, you will thank me later, but let's get started with this haul. We are starting off with some accessories, and I did end up getting those blue tights. I know they're pretty obnoxious, but this is also the first time that I've showed off this digital print floral dress. I got it in Chicago at Riot Fest, but I haven't been able to wear it since I bought it because it's been so cold. So if you sell any prints like this in any color, hit me up, because I actually want to find colorful tights to match each dress I own. So yes, I have blue to match it, but if I can find some like bright neon green ones, hell yeah. I did get a second pair of tights, and they're these really neutral colored ones, but I have to bring you in a little closer because they do have this tonal pattern to them. So I like that they give a little bit of texture to outfits, and I love that they tie in really well with Forest Fairy inspired outfits. But just make sure you're double, triple checking the items, just because you can run into a lot of damaged pieces. So these do have a few snags, but they are pretty minor, so I personally don't mind. This is probably my favorite find of the entire haul, and it's this really pretty camisole. It's made 100% of silk, so it's very delicate. I'm kind of scared because I'm a sweaty girl that I'm gonna ruin these pits, but the straps are a little too big, so I'm wanting to take it in just a little bit, or maybe even use satin ribbon to like tie it and make a little bow bow, something cute. But look at all this detail. We have some sequins, embellishments, beading, and then we have this ruche detailing here that kind of makes it look like there's boning, but there really isn't. It's not structured whatsoever. I'm just noticing it now, but the pattern that the beads make are freaking wings. So this is gonna come through for a lot of good fairy outfits, and even better is that the tags are still attached. Here we have this cute little snow outfit, and what I picked up was this white corset. I have been so desperate to find a white corset or bustier. It's been on my thrift list for so damn long, so I picked this one up. It's a size 36, but the girls are not girling the way I need them to. This just fits really big. We got a lot of space up in here. But we have underwire cups, little bow applique. This does have boning throughout, so it is pretty structured, but the panels here are sheer, and it has a plunging back, which is really pretty. And it also has the garter attachments. It just doesn't have the straps on it, but overall in pretty good condition. Since it doesn't fit me, you could probably find this on my website if you want to snag it. I don't think my camera is gonna like this outfit because there's so much white going on, but I usually don't get excited when it comes to little lingerie slip skirts, but I've never come across one that has floral embroidery on it, so this was something new and different, and it's super mini too. It's perfect for my height too, because I'm only 5'3", so I like my hems to be a little bit shorter just so that we can give more length to my legs. But I'm loving this outfit. I'm gonna take pictures of it ASAP. Arthur also came through with a find, and he found this midi dress by Rampage. It's one of my favorite brands to pick up, but it's this all over tiger print. We have a square neckline, these very like slinky spaghetti straps, and this fabric is very comfortable. Like, it's super spandexy and stretchy, so it's not like too constricting, even though it is a bodycon silhouette. I really do like it. I'm just not sure if I'm crazy about the length. To be a little bit more compatible with my wardrobe, I need something more like this, something a little bit more fun and flirty. I feel like that could be a pretty easy rework to do on my end, but either way, I still feel like it's a pretty good piece. This also does have a little bit of staining on it, so I'm really hoping that comes off in the wash. I'm not sure if you could tell, but there's these little orange marks. Not sure whether it's from the previous owner, if it's just like poor warehouse storage, but it's not that noticeable unless you're like super up close. Here is the next item, and it is a set. Before you say anything, this is a partial thread regret and partially something that I wanted. I was highly inspired by, I'm gonna butcher this, Avalon Blvd on Instagram and on TikTok, and I love how she plays with a lot of silhouettes, especially puffy sleeves. So I don't even want this dress, to be honest, but I don't have it in me to separate set, so I took the dress. All I really wanted was this robe because it's sheer, it's flowy, and look at these sleeves. They have so much texture to them, they're puffy. So let's talk about the robe first. It just has a spread collar, puff sleeves. We do have a 3-button closure, and then this huge vent, so I feel like it's gonna be perfect for showing off outfits. But the thing that I really want to do is just put a harness over it so we can make it a little bit more alternative, a little bit more funky and unexpected. The only thing I'm not vibing with like at all is this color, but I feel like since it is pretty sheer, I could make it work. But this is a brand Shadowline. I did look it up on Google, and a lot of the dress and robe sets start off at $60, so this might be worth quite a bit of money. This is the dress. This is what I'm not wanting to keep, so if any of you guys wants it, it'll be up on my website, but it looks a little too goody-goody two-shoes, a little too modest for me. But this is what it's looking like. We have a little V-neck. It has braided straps. I also had to put on a bra underneath because you could see nip straight through this. I'm pretty sure it's damaged too because we have a whole bunch of loose strings that I'm not sure what it belongs to. Some of them are connected, others aren't. I'm thinking maybe they wrap around the waist, but I'm not entirely sure. This is really the only damage to the dress. Other than that, it's in pretty awesome condition. The robe is what's pretty beat up. That has a lot of pinholes and staining, so I might just dye it to save it. Here's the last piece I have to show off, and I did end up getting a pair of pants, but they didn't end up working out. So if you do plan to shop for yourself, take a measuring tape with you. So I do have the back pin just so that they can actually look good, but it's this white beading that really got me. So it runs from the waist all the way down into the hem and then onto the other leg too. The only weird part that I personally didn't mind is that we have this bead applique on the back of the leg, and it doesn't match the white beading whatsoever, so I'm thinking this was someone's DIY. Other than that, they're super cute. I just wish they fit me. But y'all, that pretty much does it for the end of my Colette rag haul. If you liked my items, let me know down below. I am gonna be totally honest though, but it is one of the more unorganized and messier rag houses that I've been to here in Los Angeles, but their prices are pretty hard to beat. They're cheaper than other rag houses and thrift stores in the area. But remember, they do the $1 clothing every single Saturday. They have that vintage store. It's open to the public. You do not need a wholesale license. I do recommend that you go as early as you possibly can, and I'm saying the minute that they open, because that's how you're gonna guarantee the really good pieces. And if you go that early, bring layers, y'all. It is so freaking cold. Also, it doesn't hurt to bring a bag or like a little abuelita cart, because if you end up getting a lot, it's gonna be hard to be hauling everything around. So if you wanna go check it out for yourself, I'll leave the address down below in the description box. But as always, y'all, I do post videos at least once a week. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!